Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. This is our monthly workshop series for people who are interested in gaining more information about nursing home abuse cases. So I am attorney Danielle Bess with South Atlanta Injury Lawyers, and we represent families and victims of nursing home abuse. So today we are going to talk about the legal actions that you can take if a loved one falls in a nursing home. So we are going to go over your legal rights, the types of claims, and the steps to take after a fall. So let's talk first of all about common causes of falls in nursing homes. And what we see often is that there are certain things that lead to falls. One can be environmental hazards like wet, slippery floors, poor lighting or uneven surfaces, or even cluttered hallways. We also see that understaffing can play a big role in nursing home falls, lack of supervision, inadequate training, improper use of mobility aids. So if someone is admitted to a nursing home, that a fall assessment should be done immediately, even before they are admitted. And in the fall assessment, whether they're going to use a mobility aid such as a walker or wheelchair, that should be evaluated. But those types of things can often lead to people falling. And also medical issues can cause falls. If someone is prescribed a medication that has side effects that causes dizziness or drowsiness, or there's some type of untreated medical condition, such as cognitive decline, all of those things need to be evaluated to ensure it's not going to contribute to a resident falling. So the nursing home has some very specific legal responsibilities. They must conduct fall risk assessments and create care plans. The fall risk assessment is done before the person is even admitted. And if there is a fall, once they are admitted, a new assessment should be done. So it's not just a one and done thing, the fall risk assessment. It should be done periodically. If there's any type of change in medication or in the cognitive ability of the resident, they should conduct a new fall risk assessment, and particularly if there is a fall. And we see this very often. Our clients will have a fall. They may not have major injuries from the initial fall, and then there will be a subsequent fall soon after and there's no assessment in between. Also, you want to, the nursing home has to ensure proper supervision and staffing. One of the major issues with nursing homes is that they have a lot of turnover, and this constant turnover can sometimes result in residents not receiving the proper supervision and care that they're entitled to. Also, they need to maintain a safe premises, make sure they fix any hazards promptly, and they need to train staff on fall prevention and emergency responses, and they need to provide assistive devices and monitor medications. One of the most common assistive devices for people who are in a nursing home bed is to have rails that help prevent a fall. And sometimes there can be padding on the floor in case there is a fall. So when is a nursing home liable? If they fail to prevent an avoidable fall, if there's negligent supervision or care, if there's improper medication management, if there's environmental hazards such as wet floors or poor lighting or clutter, and if they violate a state or federal regulation. So there may be instances where falls are unavoidable, but what we see most often is that with the proper care, training, and the facility ensuring the facility is in proper order, a fall can be prevented. So the types of claims for nursing home falls include negligence claims, a failure where we allege that there was a failure to exercise proper care. There could also be medical malpractice claims if a doctor or nurse's actions cause harm. There could be a premises liability claim if there was a condition on the property that they knew, that the nursing home knew about, and they did not fix the condition and it led to injury. And of course, there can be a wrongful death claim if the fall resulted in a fatal injury. Some key evidence to consider to strengthen a case is the incident reports. So whenever there's a fall, there should be an incident report created immediately that documents what happened. This incident report should include the people who were present at the time that it happened, the condition that the staff found the resident in. It should have all sufficient information so that if there's an investigation by the state or the family, that there's a clear record of what happened. It should also be documented in the resident's medical records. There should be a record of this fall. Witness statements should be taken. We always advise family members, if they talk with individuals who witness something, that they should get their name, their contact information, and document what they are saying happened to their resident. And also photos and videos. Sometimes staff members at nursing homes will tell family members that you can't take photos, you can't take videos of your loved one because it would violate HIPAA laws. Well, that is absolutely not true. Your taking photos and videos does not violate any law. HIPAA is a very specific law that applies to medical facilities that hold medical records. You would not be violating HIPAA. And the reason they tell people this is because they don't want them to document what happened. And another very important key piece of evidence is the nursing home history. So the nursing homes are assessed by federal and state governing bodies, and sometimes that can give us a clue as to what has happened at that facility in the past, and it can give us valuable information about the condition of the nursing home. So here's some of the steps you can take if a loved one falls. First of all, make sure they seek immediate medical attention. You do not want them to ignore for your loved one to have a fall, they don't seek medical attention, and your loved one has a broken bone that needs medical attention. You can request an incident report from the facility so that you can get more information about what happened. Document the injuries and conditions with photos and videos. Speak with staff and witnesses about what happened. And certainly you can consult an attorney to explore legal options. Now, how can we help? So a lawyer we can investigate the fall and gather evidence. We can determine the best legal strategy. In nursing home cases, if you're going to file a lawsuit, there's some very specific things that you are required to do in order to bring a lawsuit. It includes having a medical professional, such as a nurse or nurse administrator, to provide an affidavit saying there was some type of negligence. We can also negotiate settlements or file a lawsuit. You know, our goal is to hold the nursing home accountable for negligence and to advocate for your loved one's rights. So I want to talk about some case examples and outcomes that we've experienced in our office. And Ms. Washington, you came on a little late. Do you want to introduce yourself, or do you have any specific questions before we continue?
Oh, thank you. No, I'm Anita Washington from Bay and Associates. We're headquartered in Georgia, but I am in the Cincinnati, Ohio office. I am new to nursing home cases, but I am trying my first case in the summer, and I am just happy to be here soaking up all the information.
Okay, well, wonderful. Glad that you were able to join us. And will your case, is it in Ohio or is it in Georgia that you're going to try this summer?
It is in Ohio. It is actually a decubitus ulcer case, but I just received a first fall case. So this was a very
Okay.
timely webinar.
Yes. Okay. Well, glad you were able to join us.
Thank
So
you.
some examples of cases we've had. We've had a case where our client alleged that she was dropped by a staff member, that she was being moved by a staff member. She required a two-person assist, but only one person was assisting and moving her, and they dropped her and she broke her hip. Now, of course, the facility alleged that she was trying to get out of bed unsupervised to go to the restroom and she caused her own fall. Well, in that case, our client's son recorded her talking about how she was dropped. She described the individual who dropped her. She was able to give details about how it happened and when it happened. And in nursing home cases, if your client is falls or is dropped and they have a hip injury, that can be a life-ending injury. And in this case, it was a life-ending injury for our client. And unfortunately, shortly after she broke her hip, she passed away. But we were able to successfully file a lawsuit and resolve the case for our client's family. We've had other cases where our client fell from the bed and uh, broke an arm, but the injury was not discovered right away. So it's very important when your loved one falls, or if you're informed of a fall, that you insist that they go to the hospital, because sometimes the facility will do a quick check of your loved one and they may conclude that, oh, there are no injuries. But it's better for them to go to the hospital to have an x-ray or whatever the proper screening would be to make sure there truly is not an injury, because our client in this case, she suffered for quite a while with a broken arm, and she also had unexplained burns on her arm. And it was only when her family members eventually insisted that she go to a hospital that this was discovered. So these are some of the injuries that we have seen in individuals that we've worked with in the past. So like I said earlier, we do have these webinars on a monthly basis. Our next one will be on March 26th at 11:30 a.m. And we will be discussing, is your loved one safe, and discussing sexual abuse in nursing homes. Now, we are open to take any questions. If anyone has any questions, please unmute yourself and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. And also, let me introduce my law partner, attorney Terry Fields. And Terry, if you have anything you'd like to say, please do.
Nothing to add. I don't see any questions in the chat. We certainly appreciate you all being here. As my law partner said, we do this every month. This is the last Wednesday of every month at 11:30. We'll be here tackling nursing home topics. If you have any suggestions for topics, please let us know. And we're happy to be a resource.
Well, thank you very much. And if you need us, we can be contacted at 470-WIN4U. We offer free consultations, and we are happy to assist you in any way that we can. Thank you very much.